Good morning. We got the Thrustmaster Soul R2 system right there. I asked Thrustmaster if they can send me over these joysticks so I can test them out for you. And here they are, and we're going to unbox them, we're going to set them up, and we're going to see a real-world example in X4 Foundations later on. The Solar system from Thrustmaster is a step into a modular world. You can use different bases, you can use different grips and whatsoever with these systems. The box is very thin, like I would not expect to have a joystick inside here, but that's because those parts are not pre-attached. If we open up the box, there you can see a lot of instructions, which is already really cool. You can see how to mount these sticks, how not to mount these sticks, how to install those. You also got to see the at the moment available options for this system. So you can either add a Viper HOTAS grip, you can add the Solar grip in here, or you can add the F18 Hornet grip on this system, which is really cool. And you can also take the Solar grip and put it on an AVA base. So let's start by taking out one of those grips. I have not taken a look at those yet. I will just grab one of them and then let's see what's inside. This is the first grip. There is some additional stuff, I think, for the handrest and whatsoever. That's the stick. Here we go. That's how it looks like. It is, I would say, normal weight. The most weight is this metal thing here. Without the metal thing, everything else is plastic. It does feel nice. It feels consumer grade, as you would expect from Thrustmaster, from a high entry level stick. This is still, for me, considered entry level, but it is like the highest value entry level so far, as I have seen in other videos. And I'm very curious about how that will turn out to be. Okay, we got a two-way button at the front. We got, oh, the button here is interchangeable, so you can put this left or right. This is cool. And now we have the button on the other side. There is a scroll wheel. There is one analog hat. There are two digital hats, two buttons here. The scroll wheel is also clickable. And all the hats are also clickable. That's great. You can change your left stick to the right stick and so on. This looks good. I mean, my hand size is about a large, medium to large. And as you see, this is kind of okay. I have a lot of clearance for my thumb. This is good. And I'm also, if I'm resting my hand, I have a little bit of room there. So this is not for the smallest hands. This is great. Small hands will also work with this. I can grab this really high and it would work. I would say L to XL hands will actually work with this. This is good. And now let's take a look at one of those bases. Let's take out the base. Ooh, the base is huge. I have not expected the base to be that huge. This looks like a DJ pad or something. This is a huge base. Okay, you have two-way switches there, up, down, which also feel very nice, I have to say. Clicky and extremely responsible. Cool. You have one digital dial, also clickable. Digital dial means there is no end to it, so I can go any direction as far as I want. This is really nice for some space games, like for example Elite Dangerous. There is a throttle here. I know that this throttle is also lighted. We will see that later on. There is the detachable USB-C connection. That's nice. There is a switch for left and right. Let's attach those things together. There's a cutout that only fits a specific way onto the stick. You screw it tightly, very tight. There you go. Oh, there's also a four-way mode switch, which is really nice here. Not clickable. Good base so far. I like the base. The base is good, although it takes up a lot of space. Like you see that there's this room here, completely unused. This space here, unused. This space here, unused. I would have loved to see this thing a little bit smaller. Oh, interesting. Oh, look at that. This is for smaller hands. They have an attachment so that smaller hands, like mine, would actually fit better on top of this. And this is easily detachable again. like that. And if your hand is a little bit smaller, they got you, boom, like this. And now you can use it for my hand size. It's perfectly fitting now. Ha, that's cool. So yeah, that's the stick. We set one up. I will set the second one up. And then we're going to take a look at how they look like when they're connected and their functionality in-game in X4. And if you're interested in what that is my merch, and there's a link in the description down below where you can check that out and see if you like some t-shirts for yourself, because they're really, really cool space-themed t-shirts. All right, let's jump over to the PC and game a little bit.
Engine.
Engine. Come here.
Yes. Chipmunk, lead them away from station. Evade fire, but do not escape completely.
X4 is way better. Oh, and if you're thinking about grabbing those sticks, using my Amazon links would be amazing. Like I said, I have no sponsoring or whatsoever with these sticks or with Thrustmaster whatsoever, but I do have an affiliate link with Amazon. I have now tried these sticks for several hours in X4 Foundations. There are a few things I learned, which I will show you directly in the configurations. First, let's talk about what I liked about these sticks. And there's one thing, the analog head that I really have to point out. The analog head feels like one of the best in the industry. It's round shaped, cut out, perfect. Ergonomically, I had absolutely no issues. The only thing, like I said, is that they're a little bit too high on my desk. I would like to have them a little bit lower. You can circumvent that by using desk mounts for this. The button placement on these sticks feels natural, really, really nice. The only thing that we're missing for competitors like the VKB Gladiators is the thumb pad or the thumb button, depending on what kind of version you got of these sticks. But there's nothing for the thumb. Everything happens on the top of the stick right there. Nothing at the side except for the little pinky button there. Everything else happens on top of there. I have not mentioned that this is a two-stage trigger, and this trigger goes forward and backward. I will also show you something that I have not seen in a lot of reviews, is how to calibrate these sticks. You need to do that hardware-wise. There's a hardware calibration that is saved onto these sticks. And how do you access those? You need to unplug your stick. All right, you can do that directly at the stick, and then you hold this trigger to the front and button number 35 pressed at the same time while connecting your stick again. And that way you enter into this green blinking mode, and this is the calibration mode. There is no software calibration where you can look at things or that gives you like an indicator of what's happening. This is kind of weird, but also good because you're taking this calibration with you to every single PC you're going. The first thing you need to do is press the mouse wheel to put it in center. You press it once and then you're in the second mode where you see this blinking light. And then you need to use all the axes that are on the stick. All the axes we're talking about, all the stick axes, there you go, X and Y axis. Now we need to rotate the Z axis full left, full right. Let's do it 2 times, 2 to 3 times so that it indicates the maximum. Now you also need to do the thumb head, the analog head, rotate it a few times around. And once you've done that, all the calibratable axes are done. You press the middle mouse button again and we're back to a green light. This green light indicates that it's finished. And now we need to unplug it again one more time because this stick is at the moment not recognized the right way by Windows. And now we're going to connect it again and we're back into the normal mode. That is perfect. And you maybe already noticed that one of my sticks is blue and the other one is red. That is doable in the configuration. Once you got these sticks, you need to go to the website of Thrustmaster. There you download the drivers, and once you downloaded the drivers, you can go into the setup USB game controller setting in Windows. And there you got your left and right stick. You go to properties, and in these properties, you see everything that you can do with this stick. You see that the axes are moving, you see this axis moving, you see the throttle, the mini stick, everything. And when you press a button, the buttons light up. This is really nice, so that way you can see, okay, all my buttons are working, and I can also see what's going on. Exactly, and from there you got just very few customizable options. You got either the point of view head switch, or you disable the point of view head switch and you get another set of buttons here. So you either have a directional digital head, or you got a head with buttons. That's the directional one. You can also enable a virtual access for the encoder of your digital dial here, this one here, and that will also show you an axis now where you can go forward and backward and whatsoever. And a middle press centers the axis, which is really nice. That's good for, I don't know, let's say for trimming or something. When you're playing a Microsoft Flight Simulator and you want to trim really smooth, then you can do this with that digital dial, and you can disable that. And you can also enable a virtual access for the scroll wheel. Same thing, you scroll up, you scroll down, press in the middle, and it's centered again. Also good for trimming. You can put that on the left stick, for example. You can do the left stick as a scroll wheel axis, and then you can trim your plane upwards, downwards, so that you can fly better. Really, really nice. Not that much useful for space sims, but especially trimming, extremely nice. So that's a thing. And you saw the calibration, the buttons work. The buttons, like I said, these buttons are the same as on my Go XLR because it's the same company basically. It's Hercules. Hercules does a lot of DJ equipment, high-grade DJ equipment, and these are DJ buttons. Great. They work every single time you want to press them. The two-way switches are extremely satisfying to use because they are so clicky and they need actually some force. I love that. The four-way switch is also very nice in X4. I used it for a container magnet, for example. So I put the container magnet on button number 23. So whenever I turn the dial to 23, I get the container magnet, and I have a hands-off container magnet, and I turn it away and it's off. One thing that I have to address, I have a problem with the throttle. Usually that throttle should look like this throttle here. So whenever you throttle up, you see the throttle goes up, right? The throttle goes up, the throttle goes down. Perfect. That's how they should usually work. There is an issue which not only I got, but a lot of people, I read about that on Reddit and elsewhere, that this throttle starts very high, and if you go up, it's already at maximum. See, nothing's happening back there. And if you go completely down, there is a it only goes to around 90%, so you only have 90 to 100%. I've seen a lot more people have this issue with the devices. I have asked Thrustmaster if there is a solution for this. If I get an answer until this video is done, the solution comes right now. Okay, future captain here. Thrustmaster responded, their support responded with a possibility to calibrate the base. And for calibrating the base, you detach the stick again, and you hold down button 18 and 19. All of those buttons are labeled. So you hold down these buttons, you attach the base, and then you see this here blinking, right? Great. When you see that blinking, you press once the 8 button and it should blink faster. There you go, it blinks faster. Before that, make sure that your throttle is to the bottom. And now you pull the throttle up as much as you like it to have. I will tell about that in a second, and then back again. Now you also need to calibrate this here. Left, right, down, up, or in whichever direction you want. Press another one, 8. and the blinking stops. And as you notice, this is the device too that had the problems, right? And now it works. There you go. That's your solution if your throttle is not calibrated. You just basically need to recalibrate your base, but I didn't find the recalibration of the base on the website. So this is for you. And now back to the video. There is little to none customization for these sticks except for left and right and the stuff that I was talking about, that either you have buttons or digital axis. Everything else has to be done in other software or in the games themselves. But for that price point, if we're talking about one single stick, that one single stick, a T1600 costs like, I don't know, 80 or 90 euros to buy. And this single stick is 140 to 150 euros to buy. So if you want to jump to using joysticks and you want something reliable, good usable, plug and play, easy access to all the functions, this is a very good entry point joystick. It is still an entry point joystick, but it is so well made that you get so many options. I don't even know if 80% of the people need anything more than that. Oh, and did I tell you about the customizable LEDs on these sticks? Let's have a look at the menu for this. If you go to the LED tab, there you can set all these colors individually. If you set red, there it is, red. If you want to set green, bam, there it is, green, purple, or cyan, or yellow. You can put everything on there. And there's also an option. I also got the question if you can turn off these LEDs. You could not do this on the T1600s. Turn off the LEDs. You can do it here with a simple hack. So let's take a look at the Thrustmaster symbol. And now I want to change the Thrustmaster symbol to be dark in this menu. I go to the Thrustmaster symbol and I go into the values and I type in a 0, even though there is a failure or whatever. I don't care. I type in 0, boom, and look, it is off, completely off. There you go. So if you put in zeros as your value, then you can also disable all the LEDs you don't like. Oh, and one more thing, you cannot disable the LEDs for the throttle. So yeah, after playing for a while with these sticks, and I think I will be keeping playing with these sticks for a few weeks, there is not really much to tell you that's really bad. If I'm comparing this to the obvious competitor, the VKB Gladiators, there are things to say like the buttons and the bass, especially the bass, is a lot more useful than the VKB bass. The buttons on the stick are at least as good as the VKB one. The scroll wheel is better. The thumb head, the analog head, is the best in the industry. So nice. The triggers at the front are a little bit toy-like, I would say, but the rest feels perfectly fine. It is full plastic, yes, except for the mounting device. And the one thing that is a little bit worse is the gimbal. The gimbal is here. There's a ball head in these Thrustmasters. VKB uses like a kind of a spring system, not really a cam and spring system, but a spring system. And Whirlpool uses cam and spring, which is completely way better than this here. But for the usability of this stick, this is, in my opinion, for that price tag, a better choice than the VKBs. I have to tell that. It is a better choice. If it's actually holding up over time, we'll see. But at the moment, if we're comparing in euros, 160 euros for one stick VKB or 140 euros for a Thrustmaster Solar, I would pick the Solar. And whenever there's something wrong with the stick, just send it back. but I would definitely go for this one here and try that. Because if you really want something good, you also don't go with the VKBs. You go with something higher, like for example, Whirlpool Constellation Alpha, which uses really cam and spring. Or you use the Thrustmaster AVA base, which also is a cam and spring base, where you can use the same stick, by the way, with that so satisfying analog head. Amazing. That was my short review about the Solars. I will probably put out one if I use those a little bit longer in like more time, about a year or something from now. And I'll update you on all these things. And I will let you know during live streams if there's anything else to add to these sticks. Thank you so much. Leave a like, subscribe, and check out the merch in my store. That would be great. Awesome space t-shirts. And see you the next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm out.